Yeah, yeah.
Oh, welcome back to RidgeSide K9 EC Radio with Mike Swerchak and myself, Greg Hunt. Today we're talking about our recap, essentially. We're going over...
Yeah, we'll go over the conference.
Go over the whole line conference that we just attended.
Prior to that, what's been up? What do you got going on in the life? I mean, obviously, coming back from the conference, you got to put the store back together.
Yeah, we put the store back together, and our roster has literally been day by day by day. We're in the last 2 days of a dog per day since we've been back.
Nice.
So it was like we got back there like late Thursday night. Friday we got a dog. Saturday we got a dog. Sunday we were off. Monday got a dog. Tuesday got a dog. Wednesday got a dog. Today we're getting a dog. Friday we're getting a dog. So the roster's filling back in on the training side of it, and I gotta say it's been awesome. Like pretty much everyone right now is like a
good client, good dog.
Yeah, good client, good dog. All the dogs are like, not feisty is the wrong word. Like we have like a little Mal puppy, and we have another puppy that's like eager to learn, food motivated, drivey. It's just exciting to have like a
good group.
Yeah, a good group.
It's weird how that goes in waves. Mm-hmm. Like you have either not a bad batch of dogs, but dogs that are like super nervous, super timid. So you have to like slow roll everything, spend a lot of time building relationships. But then like you'll get a group of like just go-getters where you can just day one mash the gas and keep going. Yeah. And then clients fluctuate too. You get like really good groups of clients, and then you get frustrating clients sometimes.
Yeah, and then just in combination like with the weather, like it's been
it's beach weather, man. I got my flops back on.
It's been super gorgeous, so that's been fun. But
I'm gonna have to figure out a design for flip flops that doesn't look dumb, but I can put these in like sport mode.
I thought you were gonna say like a dog trainer design where like you can clip on your e-collar and a clicker, and
it's coming. I need a 3D printer.
Yeah, I would say like your fob shoes are probably the closest things that are pretty nice enough.
Yeah, but my feet sweating those. Oh. It's tough. Gotta let them puppies breathe.
So yeah, it's been pretty good though. I'm excited. How's it been coming back for you?
Good, man. Super busy. Preparing for that course for the local law enforcement stuff that's happening in May. So doing all the favorite things I love to do, create PowerPoints.
Is that what this is all for?
Yeah.
It didn't seem very dog training, like client related.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just, I think, especially with the graphic videos, I like to set a strong hook at the beginning of a class and, show the violent side that law enforcement sometimes have to deal with, wake people up because it's going to be an early start, 07. Went yesterday and checked out like, I don't know, probably 20,000 acres that we have to play with.
Ooh.
So that was fun. A lot of nope ropes out there, though.
I bet.
Yeah.
So,
bring some boots.
That's going to be nuts.
Yeah. But it was cool. They're the organization or the sheriff's officer that we're hosting it with is going to do it right, like buying food, water for everybody. They're going to clean up some of the areas that we're looking at to, bush hog through stuff so we can.
Is it going to be different departments are coming in, or is it
we have 15 teams signed up from basically Raleigh to the coastline.
Shit.
And then a lot of those guys are bringing like tack dudes with them, or drone operators will be there. So we'll have different, technology assets to implement into training. Well, I'm excited about it. And then yesterday I spent all day on the phone, just new applicants and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we're growing. It's hurting my brain, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I hear that.
But yeah, so how was your time at the conference, man? It was, first of all, that venue was absolutely sick.
Yeah, for me, like I absolutely loved every part of it. The obviously, like it's very specific, but like for me, like having the van, oversized parking lot, super easy under the hotel. The hotel was super nice. Everything, like the whole layout, everything flowed super easy from like that lounge on the second floor to the rooms to the conference center. Like that whole setup for it being like in Myrtle Beach was super nice. I've never seen the layout of like the old Pittsburgh ones, but like
it was. I mean So for those of you who don't know, we were at the Hold the Line conference, which is a police K9 seminar training stuff where vendors and world-class instructors get together and just help educate police departments, K9 units to like further education for training and stuff. This year was at Myrtle Beach, and it was absolutely gorgeous. 2 blocks from the beach, itself, and then like restaurants and all that stuff. Pittsburgh was cool in the sense of like it was a one-stop shop, just like this one was. But the biggest advantage was being able to go outside and like walk to all these nice restaurants and not take stray rounds and like not get your car towed and not get mugged and robbed. So it was definitely a friendlier environment unless you just wanted to be cooped up in the hotel. So that part I in love with.
Yeah.
I wish the weather was a little bit better.
Yeah, we got rained on the first morning.
And then the whole off-leash dog controversy was wild.
Yeah, I feel like once the conference kicked off,
it slowed down.
Yeah, because we were everyone was out there. Our window overlooked that whole field. I saw.
I was catching people on video and sending it to people that had confrontations.
Yeah, I had like our dogs. They were doing good out there. No issues. No one was coming up to us. And
you had the invisible leash attached though.
Yeah, I was running the flexi.
Bro.
I do that all the time.
So what did you guys like? This is the first major conference that you've been to besides local stuff as vendors. What did you guys think about it? What did you guys get out of it?
So broad aspect, like broad range of things that we got out of it. Definitely love doing it. Like it's good for the stores, like for us to get out and get more people to know us. Cause it's one of those things where like you could do as much social media and as much, you know, having a brick and mortar or going out in town, like training dogs. You're like, oh, like everyone sees me. Like everyone knows that we're dog trainers and we're here. But like in the grand scheme of things, like literally no one knows about you. You know, like even like there's like in Jacksonville, there's people that don't know about RidgeSide K9 Eastern Carolina or RidgeSide K9 dog training supplies just because like, you know,
there's a lot of people there.
Yeah. Thousands and thousands, tens and tens of thousands of people. Like just some people you just don't have a reach to. So it's cool getting a reach out to more people. It's a side of the industry or a side of the dog culture that I've never been really a part of, and it's a part that like with the military background and the dog background now, like I love, like it's awesome. Like I love people that do work for their country, for their nation, for their community, and put themselves behind the purpose of other people, or the safety of other people, so. Law enforcement, that's awesome. Doing it with dogs, that's even more awesome to me. So talking to those people, like outside of the store, like I said, it's a broad thing,
and it's cool because it's like it's bigger than even nationwide. Like there are people from Canada there, East Coast, West Coast, everything in between. I think the final count was close to 400 handlers from all over the nation, and then you got vendors from everywhere, some local, which is cool, develop some local partnerships. And then, the guys that are in the circuit, like Ray Allen was there, which was dope from, I think they're in Colorado. But everybody, it's just a good time. Great people.
Yeah. But between talking to the handlers, talking to the instructors, talking to the other vendors, just businesses, like networking is huge. Like you can't be a hermit. Like you have to, like, broaden your spectrum, talk to people, see how people do things, even if they're not in the exact same space that you are. It's still good to like get with people who have business on the mind, who have growth on the mind, and are constantly evolving, constantly developing. We met a few of our vendors like for the store there, and then like I said, just people finding out about the store, people talking to us. We definitely have a 6-month plan from now to start doing our orders, doing our planning for the next conference. Nice. So like we have a bunch of that laid out, and we know that we're going to come in a lot, not bigger and better, but like a lot more refined and sophisticated.
Tailored to that specific event.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was.
What are some of the things you guys are changing?
So one, we didn't have, like, since we've only had a pop-up booth at a seminar before where like it was just one instructor and he was teaching locally. So we had a booth, and like in between the breaks and the classes, people would just come up to just us. We were the only booth there basically.
Right.
So like we sold like a lot of like just dog training products. It was like a dog training seminar, like pet dog training seminar. So for the canine side of it, we obviously have a lot of stuff outside of the canine handler world, but to get our name out there more, like we're seeing a lot of other vendors having like, raffle style things, giveaway style things, promotional style things. We really didn't come with any of that. Like, we weren't really prepared for that. So next year we're going to do a lot more promotional stuff. People that saw us and talked to us, like we had, a couple dozen people have like messaged us since the conference.
Oh, cool.
Tagging us in, like, they got a tug for their dog, and like it's a video of them, playing with their dog or whatever, and they'll tag us or comment or slide up on some stuff. But we want to get more people to remember us later on. So just giving away more stuff, more promotional items, so they can remember, who was there and kind of.
Cops dig stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stickers, patches, and like any dumb swaggy stuff. Like cops will eat that up nonstop. And even military convention or like seminars, it's the same stuff. Like think about all the dumb stuff you buy as a person. Like you go into a store and you're like, oh, that's a cool sticker.
Yeah.
And you just buy it and don't think about it. And you have the same mentality as all of us do.
Yeah. So, and then like it was very clear that we were a store because like the way that our booth was set up, like we were the only booth that you could walk through. Either everyone had a table blocking their booth off, and like you just walked up to the table and the booth was behind them that you couldn't enter, or the booths were pushed in to where you walked into the space and then it was still the person behind the table or it was still the product on the table. But for us, we had it set up, where it was aisles basically where you can walk in and out. So it was very prominent that we were a store, but we want to do more promotional, or not promotional, but more displays, more advertising type things about what we do, who we are. Maybe bring like a little TV next time on one of our little generators or something, just to like play clips of like.
Knowing you don't do anything little. So by little TV, you're going to bring like a 75-inch.
Yeah, that's like that's 8 inches.
Yeah.
that's average.
Guy math.
But yeah, so we're super stoked, and again, like it's one of those things where even if profits or total sales don't equate to the travel expenses, it's worth it for us.
Oh yeah.
Like outside of the store, it's worth it just for us as dog trainers or just us as business owners to go and experience it without even looking for a return on anything.
Well, it's hard to, categorize what your return on investment is going to be in those kinds of things with like the personal relationships with even the companies you guys are already selling stuff for, like just having that sit down, like, hey, I know we've been selling your shit for months now, but like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're about. We say the same values. We're the same type of people. So then even then, like, they'll start referring you guys out to different kind of stuff if local stuff pops up, or like, even the out of state vendors. I can't tell you how many people we get calls from like, oh, my friend moved to Japan, and they have family in North Carolina now, and they, we had really good experience with you guys and loved your equipment or loved the training. So here's a referral, and like, it's hard to quantify that down the road, but the more you get your name out there and the brand out there, it definitely helps increase. Yeah, and unless you're douchebags, and then you kind of screw yourself.
No, yeah, and like that's the one thing that it's nice to do in person things, because like you can have a relationship with somebody online, and not like the catfish relationship, but like a relationship where you talk to somebody online, whether they're a vendor or a retailer or just social media person or friend, and they don't really know who you are personality wise outside of reading those text bubbles.
Well, there is you say not catfish, but it's kind of a good term for it, because there's so many fake online personalities, and then you meet them in person and you're like,
you aren't the person I thought you were.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So like, and that's the way I look at it. Like, knowing who actually the person is determines a lot of whether or not I'll do business with them or promote them, right? Even if they have the best product on the planet, if they're like a convicted sex offender, then I'm not going to fuck with them,
right?
Because like, that's not what I stand for as a person. And that's unfortunately kind of like a prominent player in the K9 equipment space, without getting sued and mentioning any names. But that's like, you have to remember who you're doing business with and the core values of the people. And that's the core values that the company stands on. So it's nice to have that networking and just even have like, I think some of the best conversations I had there were not during classes or vendors or like schedule time is when we were all just sitting around shooting the shit.
Yeah. It's always the sidebar conversations that like have the most impact, and like that doesn't take away from the instructors, or from the classes, but like very often, either it's great information that you've never heard before, and like, oh, cool, like I'm gonna hear that for the first time, I'm gonna start implementing that.
Yeah.
Or like you've heard it 20 times already, but you need it pounded into your head.
Yeah.
Which is still very, very important. Like, I sat on Mike Lilly's class on tracking. I would sit on it again next year.
Yeah.
Even if it's the exact same curriculum, because like hearing it pounded into your head over and over again, and like, I'm not using it, but like it's still good information to have in the back of your head. Or like I have a few pictures that I took of his slides, because like kind of the same thing. Like he had a 2-hour class, but it's 3 pictures of 3 slides that to me, like those quotes are gonna be so impactful.
Yeah, I mean, even from the training perspective, we don't do a lot of the tactical stuff. Like as a brand, that's not what we do. But it's all dog training at the end of the day. So if you can see like Mike Lilly talking about tracking, but then he breaks it down certain behaviors, that easily correlates into what we do day in and day out. And like, his biggest things, without giving too much of his curriculum away, is basically just allowing the dog to make decisions, and then the same concepts of rewarding the behaviors you want and correcting the behaviors you don't want. So it's all relatively simple. No matter what class you sit on, regardless of what the instructor claims, none of the shit is proprietary. It's just like taking everything that is out there and then applying it to like your personal style of training, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and like being that all the people that were there were mostly handlers or trainer handlers or whatever they were, it was nice because like obviously the people that go there are the ones who want to learn more.
Yeah.
So to me, my outlook on handlers versus trainers kind of meshed more together, or I had a better outlook on handlers afterwards, just because like there are motivated ass handlers out there that want to learn, want to do better by their dog, not just like implementing them as a tool and just running from there. So like,
yeah, the guys that get into K9 for like the cool uniform, the take home car, and like the different schedule, those aren't the guys that end up at these seminars sitting in on classes. I mean, you can pick out a couple here and there that, and Myrtle Beach will start drawing this crowd a little bit because it is a nice place to go to a seminar.
Yeah.
But like 99.9% of them are like the top 1% of their department go-getters that want to just like take it to the moon to the best of their capabilities.
Yeah, for sure. What are the classes that you went to?
So obviously I shot those promo videos for Mike and Eric, and you got to support the RidgeSide brand. Plus, like I've been learning from those dudes forever. So it's even though I've sat in on their classes and seminars 20 times, every time I sit in on one, like there's either a story that has changed, something new that was added, and there's like little tidbits that maybe I've forgotten over the years, and then like you hear it again, you're like, oh shit, and it kind of helps ignite the fire. I sat in on Brad Gillespie from Canada, his tracking class, which was pretty cool. They do shit a lot differently up there, just because it's they have a lot of assets, but I think it was like 140,000 square miles that they're policing.
Jeez.
So like, for me, small town, like I only had 14 square miles. Like I got everywhere in a car, and he was talking about like, oh, we get picked up in a helicopter and dropped off.
I was going to ask, are they like flying into locations?
Oh yeah,
like
they're
then?
doing all kinds of wild stuff, and a lot of their like they have the towns of like Toronto and all that kind of stuff, but then like they'll just go out where it's hundreds of miles of bush.
Damn.
And they're like still hunting people out there. So it's just cool to kind of see how people do stuff differently all over wherever they are, because it's especially in the tactical world, the K9 world, there's no like this is the way it has to go. Right. There's trade-offs for everything. Like it's just kind of cool. It gets you a little more perspective, more tools in the toolbox. Even though I don't personally have a helicopter to pick me up and drop me off places, but if I did, I would use it.
Yeah, no, that's pretty rad. Like I was to say, like you said, like hearing the classes or wanting to still go to the classes over and over and over again. To me, it's kind of like the more you talk to anybody about what you do, the more, and not like in a braggadocious way, but like if you stay stagnant and you don't, like, you stay in your house and you train your dog, or you do whatever with yourself over and over and over again, you're never expanding your mind. It's like if you don't read books. Like, and I'm not a book reader, but like for those who do read books,
because the Marine Corps never taught you to read.
yeah, turn it upside down, backwards. Like if you read books, like your brain is thinking, it's processing things, and like if you read books, you could be smarter or whatever it is, or it's that aspect of like if you're never talking to somebody, then you never really formulate different ways to say something. So like kind of how you were saying, like, Eric might have told you a story 10 times, but if it not changed, like he's changing the story, but like if he added a sentence that he's not added before, or he's swapped a word out, like the different way of saying it can have a different impact, and it could trigger something in your brain a little bit differently. So kind of like, you could talk to somebody about like any topic. If you talk about that topic every day for 10 days, it's going to change a little bit. Your conversation about it's going to change, and it's going to get you thinking more and more and more.
Yeah.
So like, I love that of like explaining things to somebody and continually explaining or continually teaching, because it makes you better at doing it. Like, it makes you understand your craft more, because like if I'm trying to teach 20 students every day and I'm teaching new students every single day, there's going to be some people that don't understand a specific part. So I have to like dive deeper into this part, and then dive deeper into this part. And then it just makes you stay fresh. And it also like, it makes you want to stay up on the current events of, what you're teaching. Like, oh, has this changed, or is this different? So like, I just love being in a room around like-minded individuals in those settings. Cause like, that fires the brain.
The other cool part now that like my role has kind of changed, more of business ownership, like that definitely opened up different conversations with people like instructors and stuff and some of the vendors.
Right.
But then like instructing too, I've been doing that for a long time, but for some reason in my brain this time it kind of hit, and like each class I sat in on, whether it was, Lily's, Stambro's, my boy Sable's class, or Gillespie's, like whenever I had time, and just popping in and out of everybody's class, like looking at it from an analytical standpoint.
You dissect it differently.
Yeah. So like looking at their PowerPoints, how do they do that, right? Are they more like informational, or are they just like talking points? But then watching the class itself, like the actual students in the class, and like seeing the style of teaching that gets the student engaged, or like where, if a instructor started losing the class, how did they overcome that? And just looking for all those tools to make me as a, better public speaker, better instructor, to like kind of flow with it.
No, 100%. Like there definitely is a level of like dissecting what you see, like, or interpreting what you see, and not just like letting it come in here, one out the other, or like just consuming the knowledge is great. Yeah. But when you're like, oh, cool, like the way he said that got this person hyped up and made them ask a question, or like the amount of videos he has, or like, oh, it's like 10 minutes till the class ends. Who's still engaged? Like, are questions dropping off? Are people looking at their watch and phone? Like, oh, cool, 10 minutes left? Or are they like, is what you're doing getting the point across?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic when you're on that end of the microphone, and like you're not only delivering the information that you want to convey in your class, right? But you're also like getting that dynamic feedback from the class itself, and you're like, okay, shit, like I'm dropping people off. Like maybe I need to jump to a video to bring it back in. Cause like, unfortunately those seminar classes, besides like the working demo ones, like Nesbitt and Ramirez and stuff we're doing, it's set up to be death by PowerPoint for the most part, which can be hard. Like in my personal opinion, it's much easier to keep people engaged just going hands-on, especially with, the type of learning personalities that are at these types of seminars. It's like hands-on go-getters. So like if we could get out there and just do reps with dogs and like fix stuff in real time, it would be more engaging. But that's not kind of the style. So you have to figure out how to be like humorous, how to talk shit to them, how to keep them engaged, talk shit to them without losing your invite for the next conference kind of thing. But it's good networking, man. Hell, and the cool part too is like all the instructors do that shit for free. Like they're not getting paid by a whole.
I was wondering about that. I didn't know like how that was set up.
Yeah, they get an invite, and just come, travel costs. I mean, tax write-offs, whatever. Yeah. And most of the guys that are teaching seminars, they end up selling seminars out of that. Like,
Oh, like people want to attend their
Yep.
3-day seminar after like a 2-hour class.
yep. So like
that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody who puts on a good class there is going to get phone calls for the next couple months. Hey, I'm so and so in Wichita, Kansas. I want you to come teach your e-collar course.
Oh yeah,
for
like
me.
come to my department and like
Yep.
teach the other 15 guys or
Yep.
whatever it is. That makes sense.
And then that's where like, yeah, it's X dollars per day plus food, boarding.
Yeah.
But it was a good time.
Yeah.
And then
Overall, it was.
for me on a like personal level, with knowing a lot of the instructors and vendors and being friends, we're all busy as shit. So like we try to keep up with each other through text, but it's, these seminars kind of bring us all into one place so we can actually like be face to face.
Yeah.
Even like, guys I'm close to geographically, like Mike Lilly, like we're only 5 hours, 6 hours apart, but like both of us have insane schedules. So
Yeah,
like
busy.
being trapped in a place for 4 days together, it was cool just, seeing him and his wife going out to dinner and doing all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, like for Ashley and I, like definitely like meeting, like we've already met Mike, but like hanging out with him again, hanging out with Rich, seeing Eric, like that was super cool.
is that the first time you guys have met Rich?
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Rich is owner of RidgeSide NorCal. He also is the co-host of Police K9 Radio. Fantastic podcast. After you subscribe to this show, you should subscribe to theirs. But that dude's like just awesome.
Yeah, like him and his wife.
He's
like,
also massive. Did you shake his hand?
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's ridiculous how massive that human is.
No, they had got in, or we had got in. I think we saw him like in the gym. Like we were like going to like check out the pool and check out the gym or whatever. And like he was in there like a day before the conference started. He's in there just like getting it.
Chewing on dumbbells.
Yeah. And like we saw him, and literally like an hour later, like Ashley got a text saying, "Hey, like dinner."
Nice.
So we got to talk to them. He actually supported the store a bunch, got a bunch of his trainers some shirts or some leashes. I think they've already like torture tested some of the leashes, so we're gonna like modify some of that supply. Just it was like the grippy leashes. He said that they were having problems with like when dogs shake, sometimes clasps will like unhook.
The nubby ones?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So I think that he gave us that feedback yesterday. So Ashley's at the store today. We're probably gonna dissect into those.
Try and figure it out.
Yeah, see if it was like a bad whatever,
Bad buckle.
or maybe his dogs are just really good shakers. Or
Yeah, I don't know.
that's why you get a safety connector.
That's right.
But
Also sold at RidgeSide K9 Training Supplies.
yeah. But no, yeah, like on a personal note, it was definitely super cool. Like we had our four personal dogs. We had a family friend dog, so 5 personal-ish dogs, and then our board and train Bullet, the little bloodhound. So he
was sucking that up.
yeah, he did phenomenal. Like just rock star in it. Through the hotel, through the conference, all the people, like all the
No loss
handlers.
of love there at all.
Yeah, all the
between him and
handlers.
that Labrador. I think it was Kong. The Kong booth had that
Oh,
2-year-old
yeah.
Labrador.
Yeah.
That dog was sweet.
Yeah, that dog was awesome. She was tiny. She was cool.
I wouldn't have been upset if she just snuck into my car and be like, oh, hey, my new home.
Yeah, so that was great exposure for him. Like we're excited to see him again after he graduated, to like work with him more or whatever. But overall, I would say it was really, really good. Definitely looking forward to next year.
Yeah, me too. And since it's in Myrtle,
Yeah, that's true.
somebody
Easy
needs
drive.
to put on one in like Fiji. That would be dope.
Oh my God. I gotta say, like for us, it was nice to be able to just drive there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if it was like there's another conference that's further away, like I don't know if we'll ever fly to a conference. So like to be there for the store, just because like it is harder as a retail store versus as a manufacturer. But
yeah,
I'm
pallet
glad it's
shipping
close.
and stuff.
Yeah,
is
so
a pain.
for us, I'm glad we could just drive down there. So
Nice.
that was good.
Well, we'll wrap this one up, and as soon as we get the information about, assuming y'all get invited back, as soon as we get the information, we'll put it out there. And if you're in law enforcement, that's the only thing. Those events are strictly closed to law enforcement and military personnel only. But it's outside of the vendors. But it was a good time. Where can people get you at? Or go ahead.
I was say we get 2 tickets that we did not use. We weren't able to find anybody that could get their department to let them go. So we get 2 tickets every year, or every attendance. So if you are active law enforcement or active military in the area or wherever,
K9 guys.
yeah, if you're a K9 dude and you're cool, let us know. If you're interested in going to next year's, because we might have 2 free tickets for anybody.
Dope. Where can people hit you up on the line?
RSK9NC.Greg and RSK9 Training Supplies.
Awesome. You guys can find me at Mike_SportCheck. And
your training company?
Yeah, the training company is RidgeSide K9 East Carolina. But, I mean, you should already know that by now.
That's true.
That's why we're here. It's the title of the channel. Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Later.